Well, yes, I actually did just finish playing pickup basketball on this sacred Thursday night. Thank you for asking. How did I play? Well, terribly, actually. I played horribly. I almost immediately pulled my shoulder, which at my age is very painful. And then my old man brittle bones started creaking a lot and a fly flew in my mouth. But that didn't stop me from putting on an absolute shooting nightmare. I went like 4 for 12 and 0 for 2 from the 3. It was bad. And also, the fly in my mouth paranoid me because I'm a hypochondriac. I couldn't stop imagining Ozzy and Drix inside of my body fighting against this fly in there. It wasn't my best showing. But can you stop talking about basketball so much, please? That's not what we're here for. Goodness gracious, you're a real chatty Cathy. What the fuck? What we're here to discuss is a really weird criminal I learned about on stream last night, and I've been thinking about him ever since. There's a case going around about a criminal in Essex who has done nothing but steal pacifiers from literal babies. Wait, what? Man 23 charged with snatching dummies from babies in Essex. Dummies? You guys call pacifiers dummies? It just sounds like you're insulting your kid. Why not just call him a pacifier? A man will appear in court charged with snatching dummies out of the mouths of babies. What a cartoonishly evil plan. Does he at least sell them or something? Like, what's the motivation besides just making a baby cry? Josh Gilder was arrested on Monday on suspicion of theft from a person, robbery, and using threatening behavior to cause alarm and distress. This happened on 4 occasions, apparently. The serial pacifier robber, burglar. What does he do with them? Does he just take them out and run away, or does he take them out and put them back? Like, what does he do? Oh, here we go. We got some more information. All right. The story just took a really interesting twist. So according to her, he uses the dummy to soothe himself. So what he's doing, and this is a revolting thought, he is taking the pacifiers out of babies' mouths and then sucking on them himself. That is fucking gross. Holy shit. He said he would take the dummy and then go sit in a tent and use the dummy, describing the thefts as purely acquisition. Goulder also admitted causing harassment, alarm, and distress to a police officer the day he was arrested. He told the officer, "If my stuff gets broken, I swear I'll kill you." He denied 3 charges of assault relating to 3 of the 5 children who he took dummies from. Still shouldn't be stealing them from babies. Bit of a hot take there from me, but, I'll say it with my chest. Stealing from a baby is... well, that's pretty low. I'm just gonna say, he's a jerk. He's a bit of a jerk. When police were initially looking for this guy, they released this photo hoping that someone recognized him, when it's just a photo of someone's back with a hoodie on. But I guess it worked out in the end because they did apprehend him. He was taking candy from literal babies, pretty much, and they eventually did arrest him for it. But I really like the idea that someone sees this and they're like, "Oh my god, that hoodie! Wait a minute, that frame! I know exactly who that is! That's my buddy Josh!" And who knows, maybe that's exactly how it happened. But yeah, they did apprehend him, and the whole story is very baffling. That's a odd crime, for sure. But I want to give you a little bonus crime that I learned about on stream last night. Actually, you know what? I'll give you 2, because we went down a little bit of a rabbit hole with weird crimes. So this next one is about a serial mannequin pisser who's still on the loose, so beware of any mannequins. They might be marked with urine somewhere out there. So just sleep with one eye open. I work at Target, and one day we found that somebody had peed on a mannequin. Turns out he'd been hitting other Targets in Minnesota and peeing on mannequins. The guy has not yet been caught. Don't worry, I'm on the case. I just looked up urinating on mannequins, and the first thing that came up was a Wikipedia page called Mannequin Piss. Is this him? Does he have his own Wikipedia page? And here's a urinating mannequin, which is an art piece. I think I found the culprit for your phantom pisser that keeps coming in and urinating on the mannequins. I think it's this guy. Got him. And this next criminal is not some unknown menace. This is actually a very well-known criminal. Burger King. And the crime, horrible food. But this time around, what they were guilty of is a promotional marketing campaign that led to the death of a few children, infants, during their Pokemon promotion of 1999. I don't know how many of you knew this, but I was completely unaware that this ever happened, so I learned about it on stream last night, and I thought this was a really weird thing that happened back then that I haven't really heard too many people talk about. Have you heard about the Pokemon Ball toy that killed a bunch of kids? What? Reflecting on the Burger King Pokemon disaster of 1999. What? I've never heard of this. Some of the most iconic toys of the 90s showed up on greasy trays across the country, but perhaps the biggest frenzy arrived with a series of Pokemon collectibles from Burger King at the turn of the millennium. Pokemania hit a fever pitch in 1999, and the frenzy had a body count. Time magazine helped introduce the Japanese imported phenomenon known as Pokemon to the mainstream. Okay. At the very center of their page, a space normally occupied by heads of state, religious leaders, and business magnates, Poliwhirl leaped out at the reader. I actually vaguely remember this cover. While parents, journalists, and psychologists were mulling the attitudinal impacts of the fad, a far more banal Poke-danger was emerging. On December 11th, 1999, 13-month-old Kira suffocated to death in Northern California. A Pokemon toy from Burger King Kids Meal was believed to be the cause. The company had begun a massive Pokemon promotion in connection with the Pokemon the First movie, which debuted on November 10th. The 56-day promotion, one of the largest in history, was intended to run from early November to end of December. The Kids Meal prize during that 2-month period was one of 57 different Pokemon toys. Making the promotion all the more exciting was the fact that the toys were encapsulated within the immediately familiar red and white orb of a Pokeball. Burger King had plans to distribute over 25 million toys in this clever format for free with any Kids Meal purchased.
Enjoy.
She's even in body armor. They knew this was dangerous. That's a huge promo. Did they have all 151? How? Damn, Burger King used to go hard. As far as Kira's death was concerned, the toy itself, as it turned out, wasn't the problem. She died after one half of the plastic Pokeball, measuring just under 3 inches in diameter, became attached to her face. She had somehow gotten it stuck over her nose and mouth, forming an airtight seal. Holy shit. Her mother took a shower for about 20 minutes, and when she emerged, her daughter was dead. Spokesperson for Equity Marketing, the toy maker that had partnered with Burger King, would later state that the toy meets or exceeds all federal safety guidelines. And Charles Nicholas, a spokesperson for Burger King, argued it was not concluded that the ball was the cause. I mean, it seems like a completely freak incident, but I mean, the ball was literally the cause. But it's not the design's fault, I don't think, right? Like that's truly a freak thing. From the sound of it. 10 days later, on December 23rd, it happened again. An 18-month-old girl in Kansas almost suffocated. By the time her father pried the half of a Pokeball from her face, the girl's lips had turned blue. When we found out about the first death, there was a realization that this could be a huge national concern. This was the worst-case scenario. A major fast food chain, not just a toy store, distributing these toys by the millions. How is it happening, though? It doesn't look like that'd be a really easy situation to find yourself in. And also, who's letting 13-month-old and 18-month-old babies eat Burger King alone? Also, what do they eat from Burger King? Aren't you still basically on mush? Maybe not at 18 months, but 13 months? When do you stop having, like, mush? When's the cutoff period? Why is every major fast food controversy about Burger King? Because Burger King it's actually a scourge. Burger King needs to just be shut down. They make the worst fucking food imaginable. Burger King have come around now, but we did have to push them. Oh, they have a recall commercial. It was such a different time back then. They had to make another advertisement in order to advertise the recall. Nowadays, they'll just make a tweet, be like, hey, we're sorry we killed some kids. Like, what more is there to say? We're sorry. Like every game dev that comes out right now when they release a pile of shit. January 25th, 2000, a month after the recall began, 4-month-old Zachary Jones was found dead in his crib in Indianapolis, Indiana. He too had been suffocated by a Pokeball. It's hard to believe that you go to get the kids something to eat, you bring home a lethal toy. How is a 4-month-old eating Burger King and unmonitored by their parents? Now, of course, there clearly is something wrong with the design here, I think. Maybe the pictures aren't doing it justice for what the Pokeball actually looks like. But what the fuck? This is a 4-month-old with Burger King? And no supervision? Holy shit, that's a recipe for disaster even if it wasn't Burger King lethal Pokeballs. Are they just clipping it around their nose like a pin? So from the way it describes it, it seems like what was happening is the baby would be playing with the Pokeball and the half would get caught on its face, like a fighter pilot, basically, with their mask. And it created an airtight seal that suffocated them.